Greetings, my magnificent ones. Sue Paulson here, your magnificence mentor. Welcome to the Heaven on Earth series. Today, I want to talk a little bit about reinvention. 5 years ago, I was listening to this still small voice in my head. You know, that voice that you feel compelled, or at least I have over the years. I've learned to pay attention because it so often had something significant to share with me or to tell me, to propel me to do something. Well, this voice said, Sue, you need to move. Well, I'd been feeling for a while in my work and my life and everything that I was kind of stagnating. There wasn't as much going on as I wanted. I wasn't sure what to do with my life. And even though that little voice had not too long before said to me, Sue, what if your mission on life now was to be happy? And so I was entertaining that idea and doing some things about that and having some fun with learning how to be happy. And then this idea about moving. Well, it felt right. It felt as if there was, for some reason, and I didn't know why, I was just willing to kind of go with the flow with it and see what would transpire, what would unfold. So because I really couldn't make much of a plan, I just began thinking about a variety of possibilities. Where would I go? Who would I be with? And so on. Well, the short part of the story is I took myself off to Winnipeg. Now, most people, when I tell them that I went to Winnipeg, say, why in the world would you go to Winnipeg? Well, that's where I was drawn to. And it was interesting that just outside of Winnipeg is the actual geographic center of North America, which I thought was kind of cool. And I think there's a lot of vortex energy in that area. So maybe that was why I was drawn. I don't know. All I know is I listened to this voice and I took myself there and realized over time, while I was there, while I was getting adjusted to being in a place where I think I knew 5 people in Winnipeg, that was it. And otherwise I was alone, and it was I was a stranger in a strange land. I didn't know where things were, but I ended up in this amazing apartment complex that supported me in ways that I would not have thought of. So the process began while I was there to kind of feel my way towards what might be next. So it was there that I had got introduced to the concept of having my own app, which was new territory for me because it was high tech at its most advanced, and I'm going, oh, I know nothing about this. So that adventure began, which then triggered, well, Sue, you need content. I knew how to write content, but I wasn't too sure what else to do. And my mentor said, well, what about doing some video to put on there? And I've never really done video. So I had plenty of time because it wasn't like I had a really vibrant social life, because I didn't know that many people. And a lot of my social life was just downstairs in the building, in the seniors room, where they had coffee and there were games you could play in the evenings and so on. But it didn't absorb all of my time. I had a lot of time on my hands. And after a while, I began to think, well, I want to be productive here. I want to create something. I want to move forward. So that time enabled me to really take on some new ideas that likely I would not have entertained if I had stayed put where I was here in Edmonton. It was interesting that it was often in retrospect, we'll look at, okay, why did I do that? Because eventually, after 2 years, I moved back to Edmonton because it felt as if I needed to be home to further my business goals and go where I wanted from there. Plus, my granddaughters are here and they were little, and so I wanted to be around them and involved in that whole thing. So I came back. Well, it's been interesting that it's been on my mind lately because my desire now is to work with or play with others in the boomer generation who are in a similar place to me. So I was born within the first 5 years of the boomer generation. So we're talking age 57 to 77 is considered the baby boom generation. Well, I was not right at the beginning, but close to the beginning of that whole movement and all of the influence and impact that the baby boom generation had on the world, right from all of a sudden they needed a gazillion diapers, right through to, oh, what about schools, what about activities, what about, and on from there. So we've had a big impact on the world. Well, here we are in our, I guess I would say I'm in the fourth quarter of my life. I'm anticipating hanging around until I'm at least 103. So here I am saying, okay, well, if I have another 30 years, what's next? So my buddy Chris Angel said to me at one point, he says, well, a friend said to me the other day that what he sees are an awful lot of people in this generation who are practicing to get old. And I'm going, I don't want any practice in that. That is not where I'm hanging out. That is not where I want to go. If that's it for some people, well, fine, fill your boots, but that's not me. I want to retain my youthful outlook on life. I want to retain my zest for life, my interest in life, my curiosity in life. I don't want to just sit in my rocking chair while Sue just, take your pension and watch TV or read a book or well, I like doing all those things. There's no question. But I'm not going to spend my whole life doing that because I firmly believe that my life is for more than that I have way more to contribute than just taking up space on planet Earth and being a modest consumer. There's more to me than that. And I was gifted with a lot more than that. So as a result, I keep seeking new ways to put myself out there, to show up in the world and say what's on my heart to say, to share, to write, to create, and to engage with others who are like me, who say, well, we want to continue making a difference. So we don't want to, and the phrase that came to mind, and it comes from one of Wayne Dyer's books, don't die with your music still in you. Well, I want to be able to keep shining, to keep exploring my talents, to keep putting myself out there in new and better and different ways. It's that reinvention that I think is important because there's this, I guess the phrase that comes to mind is grow or die. Well, I believe that is true. And you could put a little twist on that phrase and say grow and die. Well, some things need to die off as we move through life and say, okay, I need to let go of that. Put that aside. That no longer fits in my life. It no longer works in my life. No different than cleaning out your closet and getting rid of old things that maybe have marginal sentimental value, but they're not useful anymore. Well, to me, it's the same with ideas, with memories, with old hurts, with old resentments, with old fears. It's okay, what of that is not serving me? What of that is keeping me from the magnificence that I truly am? And what am I going to do about it? How am I going to reinvent myself? How am I going to move forward in a different way, knowing what I know? Because let's face it, you come to this point in life, we know stuff. We've been there, we've done that, we've got all of the ratty t-shirts that ever came along, and said, yeah, it feels in this 70 some years that I've lived, that I've lived a few different lifetimes. And some of it, when I think back, I'm thinking, wow, did that really happen? Did I really do that? Well, I did that and I did that. And it just seems like lifetimes ago. Well, yeah, I did. I accumulated all of the experience from that, and hopefully a little wisdom along the way, to make it so that I can say, okay, now what's next? What's going on after this? Where am I going now? So here I am today, really delighted that I allowed myself to be open to the messages that come to me to guide me to the next best step. And it's thrilling. I love it. Is it uncertain? Yes, I don't know what the outcome is. I'm about to publish another manuscript. Do I know if the book is going to do well out in the big wide world? Well, no, I don't. That's not really my business, although I'll do what I can to promote it and so on. But my job was to write the book. So I have, and then get it out there. Well, I'll do that. Well, that's not the end of it. It's, well, then what's next? My publisher was saying, well, Sue, is there another book? And I said, yeah, there is. I said, I haven't started it yet, but there is another book. I have the title and I have the cover. She says, good, this is good. So I'm not done. And I don't anticipate being done. Will I live long enough to see the fruits of all these labors? Likely not. But that's what happens when you have a big vision, not only for your life or for yourself. It's, what kind of mark do I want to leave? Because I don't want to be invisible. I don't want to move into the realm of elderly people who become invisible. Like, nobody knows the life they've led unless they tell them. Nobody understands what gems and jewels they have to contribute because of the experiences that they've accumulated, unless somebody asks. And well, I'm not shy about telling people. And so it's really important to me to show up and be visible. So if you're in my generation, if you're in that 57 to 77 age range, or a little younger than that, or a little older than that, and you want to make your mark, or you're still striving to make your mark, then let's play. Let's get on with it, because as we know, our world has moved into a very complex arena where the solutions are not simple. It's going to take the powers of all of us combined to reinvent our world so that it's a better place, and so that everybody has an opportunity to shine in the way that they do, with their talents brought to light, their gifts equally available to others. That's important to me. And we're magnificent enough to be able to do this. So I really want to encourage you today, and inspire you, and even challenge you to take a look at your life. And if you have more to give, more to grow, more to go, then pick something new, something different, something rattles your world a little bit, pushes you out of your comfort zone. I've been out of my comfort zone for so long. I'm comfortable in my discomfort. And it's not a bad place to be. I've kind of given up the idea of wanting to know how things are going to turn out. I don't know how things are going to turn out, actually, and I'm curious to see if they turn out more than what I sort of anticipate. And so that's the true joy in that, is to say, well, I'm going to let the universe look after that part. I'm just following the guidance of, I'm here now. This is what I'm meant to do. I'm going to follow that path until another path opens up. And so the journey is never done. The journey just meanders around. Sometimes it's a straight line and you get here and then you say, oh, this door just opened and off I go over there. Hallelujah for that. I mean, I'm totally engaged in how that works. One of the most compelling reasons for me to share this with you today, especially if you're a boomer, isn't that the kind of a role model we want to leave for our young people? We want our kids and their kids to say, wow, Granny or Grandpa were just on fire right till the end. They didn't settle. They didn't relax into learning to get old. They kept striving, they kept doing, they were vibrant and alive and shared and made a difference to us and obviously to the world. So there's I don't know how many of us, how many boomers, you can Google that, I'm sure, how many there are of us. Well, we're all reaching that age and stage now where we're not scrabbling for so much for making a living, although I'm aware that some are. Well, then let's band together and find ways so that the gifts that we have to give can be more fully realized. And that is going to make a better world for all of us. It will truly create heaven on earth. You know you're magnificent enough to do this, so let's get on with it, shall we? If you're enjoying the Heaven on Earth series, you would like to weigh in on my Tea with Sue series, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's lots of videos there. You can even download my free app called The Magnificence Mentor. It has videos, some audio, it has articles on there. I've had a lot of fun creating content for that, and it's all free on your mobile device. The Magnificence Mentor. And if you have a notion that you would enjoy testing out what it might be like to be a magnificence mentor, I want to invite you to check out magnificencelab.org. Magnificence Lab is a co-creation between Chris Angel and I, where we're going to enjoy working with people who are in that baby boom generation who say, wow, I want to make a difference out there, or I am making a difference. And I'd like to talk to other people who are making a difference too. So we're going to be walking each other home in that community. Magnificencelab.org is the website that will give you some information about that. We have a little invite video that you can watch. Plus there's some podcasts there where we're just exploring ideas about what's going on and how to really allow our magnificence to fully shine so that each of us experiences heaven on earth. So that's available to you too. In the meantime, take good care, my magnificent ones, and we'll see you soon.